Hey, this is Brock Lemires, and in this video I'm going to talk about using the VIM text editor on the Linux server. Okay, so when you operate in the Linux command line, there aren't a lot of GUIs that you can use to do program development. So most of the time you just use a basic built-in text editor that comes along with Linux. And there's a lot of built-in ones that are in most Linux installs. Kind of one of the oldest is called VI. There's also one called Nano, and maybe you've heard of Emacs. We're going to be using VIM, which stands for VI Improved, and it's just an extension of the original VI, but it's a very powerful text editor because it's got a lot of built-in functions and built-in shortcuts, and it is deep breath. It is a little difficult to learn when you first start, but once you ramp up in it, you'll see that there's a lot of different features that you will really enjoy. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to start with a code along. So whenever you see this keyboard, you should fire up PowerShell and log into the CSCI server and code along. And so let me fire up this window right here. And so what I'm going to do is I've got screenshots of what you're going to see in the slides, and then I'll also be coding along. So I got to find a way to position this. So I'll just put it right there. Okay, so I'm in PowerShell right here in Windows, and I'm going to go ahead and change up two directories and into this folder I have called CSCI 109. And then what I'm going to do is SSH over into the CSCI server, which was on my history. So I just hit up arrow until I found it. And then I'm going to log in, and this will all become second nature as you go. Okay, so now I'm in my home directory, and I can do an LL to check out what's in here. And I see that I've got a couple, I've got some, let me clear that and then go LL. So I've got some folders in here that I'm using for other things. So what we're going to do is create a folder called mod02 underscore code along. And that's where we'll kind of create files for the module 2 here. So I'm going to do make directory, do an mkdir, and then I'll go mod02 underscore code along, and we'll do these folders for every module so that you can kind of keep things organized. So I do that, and then I do LL, and I see that I've created this folder mod02 code along. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and change into it. So I'll do cd mod02, and I'm going to hit the tab button now, and it'll autocomplete. So I can do LL, and nothing's in there. Okay, so I'm going to go clear, and I'm sitting in this directory, and I'm ready to start messing around. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You launch VIM by simply typing in VIM, and then you give it a file name. Okay, and if I go vim test, 1.txt, and it's up to you what the file extension is. If I do this, it will start a Vim file called test1.txt, but it's not going to create the file until I save it. Okay, so you can kind of safely mess around in here and then not save it. So if you hit return, you are now in Vim. Okay, so this is what Vim looks like. It's very simple. There's nothing in here, but down in the bottom left, you'll see this feedback that kind of gives you information about what's going on in the Vim editor. Okay, so I'm sitting right here. Make that a little bit bigger, and now what I want to do is talk about the modes of operation. Okay. So there are multiple modes of operation, and there are three main ones that we'll start with, or are the ones that you use almost exclusively. Okay. First of all, you have normal mode, and that's used for navigating and editing. And you have insert mode, and that's used for inserting and modifying text. So that's like you enter your program. And then you have command mode, and command mode will allow you to essentially issue commands. One command might be save. Okay, another one might be quit. Okay, so it's got a series of commands that are very useful. The buttons that put you into these different modes are as follows. You're going to have escape. So your escape button puts you back into normal mode. If you hit the I button, lowercase I, that'll put you into insert mode. And then if you hit colon, that'll put you into command mode. Okay. And the only way to learn Vim is just practice over and over and over, and you will do this continuously. Okay. All right. So when you're in normal mode, you should just get used to hitting, well, I guess not in Word, but you should get used to hitting the escape key over and over and over. So I'm in Vim, I'm just going to hit escape, escape, escape. escape, and it doesn't do anything, doesn't do any harm to hit escape. It just puts you into normal mode. Sometimes if you don't know where you're at, just hit escape and get into normal mode so you know exactly where you're at. Okay. All right. In normal mode, you can do things like move the cursor around. Okay. So you can do the arrows to move around. You can delete a current line. You can copy a current line by doing YY, which stands for yank. DD stands for delete. PP stands for paste the current line or put. And then you can do undo as U. And then you can do control R, which is redo. These are some of the most basic things that you'll do continuously. There's others. So there's a lot of different commands, but like I said, it's just like Linux. You don't want to learn, you don't want to try to do every single thing possible on day one. You just want to get the absolute basics in order to navigate and actually continue. Okay, so let's practice with moving into insert mode and then getting out of insert mode. Okay, so I'm going to have my key right here or my shell, and I'm going to hit escape. Okay, so I hit escape a couple times to know I'm in normal mode. And then what I'm going to do, let me see if I can move this over a little bit. Okay, all right, so here I am over here. I'll move this a little bit up like that. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit I to go into insert mode. So I hit I. Look at what happened. I'm now down in here in insert mode, and I can enter text if I wanted to. But let's get out of it. So let's go escape, and now we're in normal mode. So notice that insert disappeared here in the bottom left. So I can go I to get in, and then escape to get out. So I means I'm in insert mode, and if I hit escape, I got nothing down here in the left. That means I'm out of it. Okay, so that is how you get in and out of insert mode. Okay, now when you're in insert mode, so let me go back in insert mode, you can actually insert text. So when you do I, that allows you to, hello, I'm in VIM. You can actually enter text. And it's like, hi, whatever. Brock B was forgotten. Just type, and there you go. When you hit escape, you're now in normal mode, and you can move around. So I can sit here and I'm moving around. I'm in normal mode, and excuse me. And what I can do is go back into it with lowercase I. One thing that's kind of neat though is you can actually do capital I, and it'll put you into insert mode at the beginning of the line. So I'm going to do capital I right now, and it jumped to the beginning of the line. Okay, so if I come up here and I'm like, oh, I forgot to hit B, I'm like, get into normal mode by hitting escape, and then I go capital I, and I can put B on there. Okay. Another cool thing is A and capital A. So if I'm sitting right here after this, I have my cursor on K, and I want to insert after it. What I'd do is I'd say A, and then I can say I'm here. Now, if I go into normal mode and I say, what was different about that than lowercase I? If you notice that I'm sitting here with my cursor on the K and I do lowercase I hit I'm here, it goes before the letter. Okay, so real subtle, right? Real subtle, but yeah, it's really subtle. It's basically where the cursor is, you can go before it or go after it using lowercase or uppercase letters. So I is before the cursor, and then A, lowercase a is after. So if I go lowercase a, then I'm like a. Let me try that again. So here is, let me delete all this. Insert mode, you can also do backspace and it'll delete it. Okay, so I'm on the I and I'm going to go lowercase I, and that gets me there. And then if I go back into normal mode and I go lowercase a, then that goes it on the after. Okay, if you want to insert at the end of the line, you can do capital A. Okay, all right, so those are 4 letters that are very common on how to get from normal mode, okay, by hitting escape, into insert mode. So you got lowercase I, lowercase a, capital A, and all those do is put you in different locations with respect to the cursor. All right, so that's cool. All right, life is good. Now, the command mode, you get to it from normal. So the first thing I got to do is hit escape to get into normal mode. And what you do is you hit a colon. So if I do a colon, you'll notice that a colon pops up. Okay, so I do colon, and now I can issue commands in there. Okay, so you notice that it's down there. And if you're not like, oh, I accidentally hit colon, I want to get out of here, just hit escape and get back to normal. So anytime you get into trouble, just hit escape. You always know you're in normal mode. Okay, all right, so let's look at a command that is very useful. One of them, I'm going to hit colon, and I'm going to do quit without saving. So I can do quit, and if I do exclamation point, what'll happen is that I jump out of Vim, and all of a sudden I know that I didn't save it. Okay, so if I do ls now, notice there's nothing in here. Okay, so ls, there's nothing in here. I created this kind of temporary file called test1.txt, and I didn't save it. All right. Now, another command is just simply Q, but it'll only quit if you've saved it. And then if you want to save it, you do a W as a command. And if you want to save it and quit, you'll do a write quit. Okay. All right. So now let's do this. Let's start a file and let's actually save it. Okay. So let me do present working directory here. So let me get my little, get back to here. So I hit clear to kind of get my screen reset right there. And I'm going to do ls. There's nothing in here. I can do ll. There's nothing in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file called vim test2.txt. So I hit return and now I'm in Vim. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. So I'm going to hit insert and say rock Lemires. And now I'm going to hit escape to go into normal mode. And now I'm going to do colon to be in command mode, and now I'm going to hit write, and that's going to save this. So when I do W, I hit return, and it actually saved the file. Okay, so if I come over here, let me do it again, and if you make the screen big enough, it'll actually show you that it wrote to a file that's called that. Okay, all right, so that's cool. So now what I'm going to do is let's write and then quit. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's go back and I'm going to quit. So I'm going to go quit, get into command mode, and I quit. I take a look and there it is. So this time, since I wrote it, I have test2.txt. All right, now I'm going to let's go edit it again. So I'll go ahead and say Vim test. And now I can do tab to autocomplete and I'm back in Vim. Okay, so that's how you get between the three modes and life is good. All right, so now that's really it. Okay, it is an frustrating editor to begin with, but you will ramp up pretty dang quick because you're going to do it over and over and over. So anytime you start getting frustrated, just take a deep breath and hit escape. Escape puts you into the known mode of normal. Then from there, you can enter into two different modes. You can go into insert mode by hitting lowercase I, or you can get into insert mode by doing uppercase I, or you can do lowercase a or uppercase A, and those four letters will put you into insert mode relative to the cursor. Okay, so either before the cursor, after the cursor, beginning of the line, end of the line. If you get in trouble, hit escape, you're back into normal mode. From normal mode, you can get into command mode by hitting colon. And the commands that we use most often are write, which is W, Q, which is quit. You can combine them to say write and quit. Or if you're totally messed up, you can just do quit with an exclamation point, and that will quit without saving. Okay, that is the basics of learning Vim, and you will get much practice with this. All right, that's it.